Welcome back to Veil of MTG to a special celebration video. Our community here is growing and we are about to reach 200 subs, and in honor of that I made this video. Thanks for the support and keep it up. The next milestone is 400 subs, so let's try to get there fast. Before we start, however, I also want to give a shout out to a site I use to check for combos, lines, and any extra information you might need, and that is Commanderspellbook.com. You can find the combo lines, combos, and everything, and anyone else I mentioned in the links below. Sometimes you need two intros to make it all worthwhile. So with this one, I want to give a big shout out to Play to Win for having some of the awesome merch, as you can see, and it really fits the style. And I'm really happy that it arrived and I can use it for this. So yeah, thanks again. And now, instant transition here. So yeah, welcome to the deck tech. This is Tevesh, Doom of Fools with Ishai, or Jedi Dragon Speaker. You know, anytime you sit down with the table, people will be literally ready to go. Well, they better get ready for trouble. And with two commanders, you better make it a double. So we are in Esper colors, one of my favorites. And with that comes many possibilities. But how does this deck actually try to win? Well, there are many lines. One of our main is obviously Fastest Oracle with either Tainted Pact or Demonic Consultation. That's the typical Demir way of winning. Obviously, because of Tainted Pact, our mana base has to be specific, but it actually helps the deck instead of screwing it over, so we'll get over that. But everybody knows this combo. But what's our other way of winning? Well, that's where the spice comes in, and probably we have Doomsday. Now, Doomsday is really interesting because basically it's a tutor and a win at once, and the Doomsday pile I make is usually mixed with Unnerve, with a Lotus Petal, and most likely Predict, or whatever the hell you want to say it, and Fastest Oracle, and two extra random cards. So you can either have this in your hand, and with 5 mana you basically go for the win. Predict, you put Fastest Oracle on top of the pile, Predict cracks it, puts it in the yard, draws you Unearth and Lotus Petal, and you win from there. Or you do it any other way. Predict is one of many possibilities, but how do we crack the pile? Well, that's what Tevesh is for, and many of the draw spells. What else do we have to win? Well, this is the easiest ways to win, obviously. I'm just gonna put these kind of to their own side. So that's the win cons. Our commanders themselves are win conditions. Ishai, obviously, is a 1/1 for 4, but can grow. It can grow really fast, depending on how your opponents go. So that's a beater. That's way to, when the game goes slow, that's how you win. Second win, which is also how you crack your Doomsday piles, among other things, is Tevesh. Tevesh can make blockers, draws cards for. You don't want to really sack Ishai into him. This is a different deck that I have that does this. Here you want to sack either your stacks pieces or the thralls. We will get to the stacks pieces later. And the ultimate basically it's almost a guarantee that you either win or you get such a high advantage that people have to focus on stopping that before they stop you from winning. Because at -10, Tevesh just grabs all the commanders from the field. If he was at 10 and dies, he just brings himself back from the command zone, and then you have everyone's commander. So that's how else you can win with this game, in this deck basically. So now that we are in Esper, we went over the win cons. I mentioned stacks. That's where this beautiful pile is. We're not that heavy stacks. We're more of a hate bear theme, But we do have two very important stacks pieces here. One being an Archon of Emeria and one being an Ephorstone Menace. And as you realize, both of them are creatures, which means they're good to sack. Archon is a removal effect that also hates on non-basic lands from your opponents, which in this format is real easy unless you're going against a monocolor deck. And Ephorstone Cannon prefers if you cast artifacts. We obviously have a lot of artifacts, but we have a lot of instant speed interactions, so we don't really care. And once we want to go pop off, this can get eaten either by Tevesh or other pieces. The hate bear pieces, as I would say. Well, to be hate bears, they need to be 2 mana. So we have Grand Abolisher, we have Lavinia, we have Doffy, we have Draenei Magistrate. These are the hate bears of the deck. So you have do whatever you want in your turn. No free counter spells from your opponents or free mana. Graveyard hate and commander and outside of the hand hate to be casting. Then we have Opal Agent, which is for tutoring. Obviously. Notion Thief for drawing. Obviously they they have flash. So that's a good part. We also run in the Labman. Labman is our backup fast, old school. So you can always win with Labman. Even if you have no library, just put Tevesh and you have just Tevesh and Laboratory Maniac and, well, one creature more, you can just sack the other creature with Tevesh and win through that. That's the beautiful part. We're also running a Captain, which is to help you go combo off and helps you find one of the 2 1-drops, which is Sentinel for drawing cards, and Saracen, which is an early game just a beater. And also gives you life, because we'll need the life later, I'll show you. We have Dark Confidant for, obviously, drawing cards. Phantasmal Image is a great 2-mana clone that copies anything from either your stuff or your opponent's. We also have a Planeswalker here, another one. Ashiok Dreamrender, which is another tutor hate, but also grave hate. Great way to get some of the graveyards out. Now, the final creature in this deck is more, I would say, a value deck, but it also just solidifies the identity of this version, because a lot of versions run, humility, stasis, and all this, which we are not running. We are more of a mid-range deck instead of just full-on stacks. But we have one more creature which synergizes really well with these two, especially with Tevesh, and that's our Deep Close Gate. For measly price of 5 mana, double the counters on each, and so you can double the counters on Tevesh, you can double the counters on Ishai if he's already big enough, and just speed up the clock to your win. Plus, nobody expects the fish, especially not in this format, but it's a really great value piece to push this deck over the top, I think. We have one more card which kind of helps with the Ishai beats and helps you protect, which is Paladin class. Paladin class has 3 steps, which is when it first hits, spells your opponent's cast during your turn cost 1 more, which will help you, combo off. Then it makes your creatures bigger, so good against, creature decks to block like Timna or whatever, and it's a mana sink when we're really staxing the field or the whole game is stacked out. And the final one, the +1/+1 doesn't really matter because you probably will be just attacking with 1 creature, but it gives it double strike. Which means obviously we're not in Jeskai. We don't have the Jeska to join us here to do a triple damage and basically one-shot someone in turn 2. But we have ways, Paladin class and Deep Close Gate, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So that's our Ishai support as well. I'll just put it away. Then we have ways to find that win. Well, obviously Doomsday is a tutor itself. It tutors your graveyard and your deck to find you the pieces you need. So as long as you have the cards in your deck and in your graveyard, you're good to go. Other than that, we have the typical lineup. We have a Vampiric Tutor, we have Demonic Tutor, Lindo's Wolf for top decking, especially if you have Doomsday, it's nice. Enlightened Tutor to find any of those enchantments or ramp, which we'll get to because we have a lot of mana ramp. Diabolic Intent is here because it also sacrifices a stacks piece if you need to. So if you have a rule of law but you want to go for the win, so Diabolic Intent is for this. And you can just tutor up the win as well, so it's 2 in 1. Witchclaw Talisman obviously is a great tutor. Praetor's Grasp, so you can tutor in someone else's library, which is also nice if there's an enemy opposition agent. You just tutor in their library because Praetor's Grasp goes around Oppo agent because you're not tutoring in your library. So that's a cool effect. And Mystical Tutor to find any instant sorcery that you might need. So that's our tutor package to get us there. If you look at the corner here, I also have a Reanimate, which is like a backup Unearth, which we have over there. But it also, this card is great for picking up stuff out of opponent's yard that can either help you or make their day worse. Now, I mentioned the life gain before. Now, why is that important? Or can get important? Well, because we're both running an Adnals and a Peer. With Peer is not that much, but with Adnals. So yes, this is an Adnals deck. Our CMC and our curve is pretty low, which means you can Adnals willy-nilly. I think our curve, when you're Adnalsing, is like 1.29. So yeah. Make sure that you don't go below 7 life and then try to hit a Peer. That will probably kill you. However, we do have a really funny line in this deck, and that will come up basically never, but if it does, you can draw your entire library with Angel's Grace, because Angel's Grace and Adnals equals I draw my entire library that turn, and go that for the win. This is also a great card to stop people from winning, but if you end up drawing your entire deck and your hand has more cards than everyone else's library, we do have a Windfall, which is a card draw effect, but it also can basically kill all the 3 other opponents. It's a niche way of winning, but you know, if you pull it off, you'll be like, oh my god, I did it. Hell yeah. Yeah, my enthusiasm is through the roof in this video. It's my first time, so please be gentle in the comments. Obviously, Peer, draw your halfy deck, which probably will give you the win. And then we have Silence, Git Probe, and Brainstorm here, because Brainstorm is good for cracking Doomsday piles, also good for drawing, and also helps you win with the Labman. Same with Git Probe, also gives you information. And Silence just likes to, you know, either help you win by stopping your opponents from stopping you, or you just stop another opponent. Now, we did mention with Diabolic Intent that there is ways to crack piles or sack your own creatures. Now, if you don't have a Tevesh out, but you still want to go, we do have our one-time use Tevesh, which is Village Rites for 1 black mana, sack a creature, draw 2 cards. It's basically the +1 from Tevesh, all in an instant. Also, you can maybe protect something from exile. So it's really cool. It's like multi-purpose, you can use this. I like this card a lot in this deck specifically. And then obviously another draw slash, well, some people start to consider this card as a, you know, stacks piece. It's not really a stacks piece, but you know, it's card value, which is Heuristic Study. Heuristic Study is always good. Everybody knows what it does. Do you pay the one? No, and go ahead and annoy the people you have. Now, there is obviously has to be some removal in the deck. Multiple pieces. Since we are in Esper, we do have the chance of using very good removal pieces. We have Swords to Plowshares. We are also on the Toxic Deluge plane. That's also where the life comes in. And if you have your own stacks pieces out, you don't really care, because this will allow you to combo off. Which means we also have a Dam as backup. I mean, single target you can kill one thing, but for 4 mana you just blow the whole thing up when they can't be regenerated, so it's a good board wipe. Also, as I mentioned, upside, it can get rid of your own stacks pieces. We have an instant speed Dress Down, which is a hate piece to go around. We can't win through this if it's on the battlefield, but that's not the point. This is more stop. It's a humility for 1 turn. Well, semi-humility. So we do have a humility, but not de-humility here. Heliod's Intervention. Now, you will see me in a couple of videos maybe earlier or stuff. This card was not in the deck. I was actually running Kafar Commando, which I like because it's a flash free one, can snipe a breach, for example. And most people run instant or sorcery counters instead of creature counters. And also you can blow up some valuable creatures if they're attacking. However, I opted to switch to Heliod's Intervention right now, so I can snipe multiple things or even game life, which is like almost never comes up, but when it does, it does. However, I do hope that maybe in Kamigawa or future sets there will be something even more spicier, so I can try to add to this deck. But for now, we're on Heliod's Intervention. We also have obviously Cyclonic Rift, which is, hey, everything you guys own goes back to your hand, and I, well, ruin your day. And Chain of Vapor. I know we have Tevesh, and sometimes getting a Tevesh bounce is annoying if somebody sacks a land to a chain. However, this is more of a, also not just a removal piece, but it's a combo piece with all the artifacts we have over here, which we will get to in just a second. But yeah, this is our like main line of other ways of removing stuff, either the board or creatures, both ours if need to be and opponents. So we did mention artifacts and rituals, so I kind of stick them together. So this is the artifacts. We obviously have the typical Felvar Stone, Mox, Soul Ring, Chrome, Talisman, Arcane. We have Crypt, Jewel Lotus here to help you with your commanders. Now, for this deck, this deck really likes to put either Tevesh or Ishai turn 1. If you don't have a stacks piece that's relevant. So this will help you get there, because just this, and for example, I don't know, Ancient Tomb gets you Tevesh. This and any, well, land will give you Ishai. So this is a great source of ramp. And obviously Mana Vault as well, which is also a great source of ramp. It helps you get Tevesh out, helps you with the Pier. Might even help you with a, what's it called? Adnos. And then we have obviously the two black rituals, which is Dark Ritual and Cabal Ritual. To get free mana, Cabal Ritual gets even better when you have Threshold and you just, you know, 5 mana, go off. Now, how do we use all this mana? Well, we, as the whole deck shows, but we obviously have lands, you know, typical fetches, shocks, whatever. We do have some specific utility lands like Phyrexian Tower, which means I can also sacrifice, do a silence and then play Phyrexian Tower because that's playing the land, then sack the stacks piece, which also gives you mana to your black. Cephalic Coliseum can get you draw, or also can be a way to stop someone from comboing off. If they have no library, this can kill them. Urborg, whatever. Our 2 mana producer is Ancient Tomb. Forbidden Orchard is a 5 mana color land that you don't care about the spirits because Ishai can just fly over them. Now we do have a Silent Clearing here, which is also a utility land that you can use to crack your Doomsday pile. Don't sleep on this. And yeah, then Spire and all the typical lands. So this is our mana production with all the rituals. Now, how do we protect our combos or stop people from comboing off? Well, that's the final line, the defense, the control part. Because we do have the win part, we have the stacks part, we have the value part, we have the hate bear part, the draw part, everything, the mana part. So we obviously running a mental misstep, Pact of Negation to protect your combo if need be, and Force of Will. The 3 great free counter spells. We don't run a Force of Negation here because we also don't have space for it right now, and we also don't run Fierce Guardianship because not always do our commanders stick around because they're big threats people want to take care of. So either I don't rely on them always being, I mean, you can win even without these two ever hitting the battlefield. Then we have obviously the best 1 mana counter spells, Spell Pierce, Swan Song, Dispel, and Flusterstorm. This really stops everyone from going, you know, insane. Storm, Counter War. This stops almost anything except for artifacts, obviously. Spell Pierce is, gotcha. And then we have one more 2 mana delay, which is great in the Counter War, but also like slows down the game, the caster enough that in those 3 turns you might even go for the win. And if you stop a counter spell with it, then it becomes basically exiled forever. So yeah, this is the deck. I call it the Tentacle Wings of Doom. Some people really like it. And I am again really grateful for having this deck. This deck has basically replaced my Aminato list for now. I'm actually really happy with the way it turned out. I mean, you can obviously, change it, do stuff like put LEDs in, Mox Diamonds, and dual lands. But you don't really need to. And yeah, a lot of builds I've seen have been, those stasis and humility builds. I'm not really going for it. I don't want the game to go for too long or be too much of a groaner. We are on the light stacks package, but this is a mid-range control with a lot of value that can, go over the top, which is what you want to do. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks for listening. If you again, be gentle in the comments. This is my first time doing this, so I do hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, I'll hopefully get to see you soon in either comments or in games. Take care.